Hello everyone, the Nerdy Steve here, and today I will be featuring a Boros Aggro deck in Standard. The list is in the description below. I'm going to talk a little bit about the plan of the deck, and then we'll play a couple of games. So, let's go. There's nothing really too different or new about this deck. We are a Boros Aggro deck, meaning we want to try and kill our opponent as quickly as we possibly can. You know, we have a bunch of 1-drops with Hopeful, Initiate, and Kumano, and then we have Guardian and Bloodthirsty Adversary as our 2-drop. We have some really powerful 3-drops as Anointed Peacekeeper, which can disrupt what your opponent is doing. Adeline can provide a really quick clock and has a really big body. And Sunrise Cavalier can attack right out of the gate because it has haste as a 3/3 trampling body. And then we also have Thundering Raiju, which can distribute +1/+1 counters among your creatures to make them bigger, harder to block in combat, and can deal a lot of incremental damage while it does that. And that's just kind of what this deck is going to do, right? We want to try and be as quick as we possibly can, use Lightning Strike and play with fire to get rid of other problematic permanents, and then just kill our opponent. There are a couple things to be aware of in that, you know, while we are an aggressive deck, you want to maybe be aware of Werewolf. Graveyard Trespasser is a card that I've had a lot of problems with against this deck. You know, it's a big 3/3 body that can block a lot of your things, and the incremental life gain does add up. So I do want to maybe keep Lightning Strike for that specific card. And yeah, there's just... And Meat Hook Massacre obviously is very popular. But I found it to be fairly successful, so let's see if we can kill our opponents before they can stabilize. Okay, we have a turn 1 Initiate, which can then get pumped up with the Adversary on turn 2. And that's always really wonderful, right? Because we want our Initiate to get as big as it possibly can. I mean, you always want to do that. But against mono black, and it seems like our opponent is at least a black-based deck, it's really good because it makes us a lot less vulnerable to Meat Hook Massacre. I'm gonna see what our opponent has here. Ooh, Fable. Sheoldred is really hard for us to beat. So let's make Sheoldred cost more. That is the card I'm really scared of. Blood type Harvester, got it. We do that. Opponent's at 10 now. Again, we're a little far away from Meat Hook absolutely destroying us. And again, the Hopeful Initiate is a 3/4, so, like, that will live. Our opponent's probably blooding away for a land, which we really love to see. GG. We'll keep here, but I've been saying one of the problems here is if we don't have a turn 2 play after the Kumano, it's much worse. But if you always draw your 2-drop, it makes the decision much easier. So, happy, joy. Bloodthirsty Adversary. Hopefully our opponent does not have a Lightning Strike. A Lightning Strike would be really brutal here. Alright. If a spell would deal damage to you or another permanent you control. So we can still deal 3 damage to that, right? Okay. We did that because now once we kill this, our opponent doesn't have a way to kill the Thundering Raiju, and we would rather our opponent use the Lightning Strike on that instead of the Shock. Our opponent does have Eiganjo though, so I'm gonna withhold my Thundering Raiju. I would have loved to have gotten value out of the Bloodthirsty Adversary by buying back a Lightning Strike or something, but... Oh, now the Eiganjo, though. Now, this is like... Part of me is going, maybe I just need to let our opponent kill the Thundering Raiju and put the counter on the Etching of Kumano, right? But it just feels bad doing that. Alright. I'm gonna do this and wait. And now we have Valorous Stance to protect it. So right now, this is a race. We are winning, so good job. Me. At least we drew this, which can block it, right? And live to tell the tale. Our opponent's only at 2 life, so we're in a pretty good spot. GG. Oof. We'll keep. Alright, drawing that mountain was really, really good. And maybe actually we should have done that on turn 1. So we could go turn 2 into Guardian of New Benalia. Because we aren't attacking with our Hopeful Initiate here. Now, we didn't know that our opponent was playing a 2-drop. But if I thought about the turn sequencing a little more, I probably would have tried to do that, I think. So we'll attack enlisting that. Do you know what? I think I like both the Anointed. We don't need another red source yet, so... alright. Now, our opponent needs another land for Sheoldred. So, a little unfortunate, but we can Guardian here. Enlisting. We don't need that. Oh, and this is a really, really good block for us, right? Because now we get to Anointed Peacekeeper. Graveyard Trespasser. And our opponent won't be able to, do it. Do it for 2. Can make it a 2/2, then a 3/3. The problem here is we really need to Anointed Peacekeeper, Meathook Massacre. Because if our opponent goes land Meathook for 3, we're just so dead. Right? But we also need to attack. Don't want either of those. So if our opponent blocks, right? We're not gonna... I don't know if we want to discard. I don't think we do. I think we're fine here. He's keeping away the Meathook. And then next turn we just Adeline. And hope for the best. GG. Okay, we keep here. And this is really good because we have the turn 1 Kumano into a turn 2 using the second stage to create a 3/3. And then on the third turn, we get Sunrise Cavalier. And with the Thundering Raiju there, we're in a really, really good spot. And against opponent, like a mono red opponent, we already have such a really strong board presence, right? And what we're in the position where our opponent now has to, like, keep up while taking tons of damage. Like, that's so great for us. Now, obviously, things can go very, very wrong, but I think we're in a very wonderful spot here. Because we get to attack with Thundering Raiju. We get to attack. Our opponent cannot kill any of our creatures here. Yeah. GG. Okay. We'll keep. We have our turn 1 Kumano. Red. Followed by Hopeful Initiate. Then Cavalier. And then Raiju. Or, I mean, now we could even Peacekeeper if we want to. I'm not sure yet. Oh, if our opponent missed a land drop, though, then I'm kind of sure. Am I? Yeah, let's go for Cavalier here. Let's just do as much damage as we can. Infernal Grasp? Got it, that's fine. Alright. Sometimes your opponent keeps not a great hand. And you win because of it. And now we're Diamond 4, so GG. Well, thank you for watching me play some Boros Aggro in Standard. As you can see, this deck can have some very potentially really, really fast starts. So, that's really good. But yeah, no, this deck is fun and it's fine. I do think if I were to play this more on the ladder, I'd want maybe more Valorous stances. And not necessarily, I mean, because Mono Black is such a ubiquitous thing to face, having answers for Sheoldred and a flipped Graveyard Trespasser, I think, are almost necessary. But also the indestructible part is then a little more relevant. I don't know what I would take out or what I would necessarily do. I'd have to, like, think a little more. Maybe even go for another Anointed Peacekeeper over Adeline. Because, like, really, I was very, very fortunate in winning against Sheoldred sometimes. But, like, Sheoldred is such a hard card for you to overcome once it resolves. Because you don't have the removal for it, right? And even the dealing 2 damage to you isn't that relevant, but your opponent having a 4/5 body that you can't really attack through and gaining 2 life every time they draw, it's just so overwhelming. So if you are playing this in the ladder and seeing a lot of mono black, I'd think of maybe finding ways to combat Sheoldred. But this deck is nice and great, and as you can see, it worked fairly well here today. And I really like it. It has some interesting play patterns, and there is a lot of agency in when to do things and how to use your removal and stuff, and I really, really like that, and that's always a fun puzzle to have. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, by the way, Thran Portal, I cannot wait for the Painland to come out. A Battle Forged Ground, I think it is, whatever its name is, will come out in the next set, because Thran Portal is garbage. It's necessary garbage, but it is garbage. With all that being said, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Those are great ways to help support me and the channel. You can also watch me live at twitch.tv/thenerdysteve. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.